Hi everyone. It's been such a long time since I've done one of these. I kind of miss it. Before we start though, I'm talking about vlogs, reading vlogs. I've been mostly doing just like sit downs. I miss vlogging. Hi though, how are you? I hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's going good for you. I have never read the Twilight books. Ever. Listen, I've watched the movies obviously multiple times, and I do have a confession. The movies are one of my guilty pleasures, especially the first ones. Little Renesmee's face, it lives rent-free in some blocked area in my brain, and I just have been in the mood for Twilight for some reason. I literally do not know why, but yeah. So I chose to do this adventure with you, to go head inside this. I forgot the saying, like to head in, not head in. To chime in, not chime in. Chime in is when you dive in. I decided to dive into this adventure with you, so we are going to be documenting the series if this turns out well. About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. When Isabella Swan moves to the gloomy town of Forks and meets the mysterious, alluring Edward Cullen, her life takes a thrilling and terrifying turn. With his porcelain skin, golden eyes, mesmerizing voice, and supernatural gifts, Edward is both irresistible and impenetrable. Up until now, he has managed to keep his true identity hidden, but Bella is determined to uncover his dark secret. What Bella doesn't realize is that the closer she gets to him, the more she is putting herself and those around her at risk, and it might be too late to turn back. We are going to escape together into Forks. So it's been hella foggy lately, and it's been raining every day, and it's been foggy and misty. So, and I don't sleep much, and I work out early. So 4 a.m. I'm up, and 7 a.m. I'm out working out and shit, and it's mist and everything, and I'm running, and it's misty, and I have this playlist, Twilight ambience playlist. The vibes are vibing. Light is absolutely atrocious, but I needed to pry myself away from the... Wait, that's a spoiler. Not a spoiler for the book, but spoiler of my reaction. It's not what I was expecting, but I was not expecting this. Okay, I'm a mess. It's a mess. We need to set up. We need to talk. You and I, we need to have a talk. Okay. Listen. The first thing I want to say is the vibes are immaculate. The vibes, I've been listening to a Twilight ambience while reading. It's just an instrumental. I don't know what it is about this book and about the movies on their own. Like I said before, please focus on my face. This is bad as it is. I don't need to be blurry as well. I don't need it to be blurry as well. I don't know what happened to my accent there. Anyways, the movies, like I said, are 100% a guilty pleasure. The vibes though, it has such a specific vibe that I personally love, and it carries in the book. The preface is awesome. I actually am going to put you somewhere, put the mic somewhere in my legs. I do hope you can hear me. I think you can. In my legs. Wow, I could have just put it here, but legs seemed better. Are met with a Bible verse. Part of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Genesis 2 verse 17. I'd never given much thought to how I would die, though I had reason enough in the last few months. But even if I had, I would not have imagined it like this. I stared without breathing across the long room, into the dark eyes of the hunter, and he looked pleasantly back at me. Surely it was a good way to die, in the place of someone else, someone I loved, noble even, that ought to count for something. I knew that if I'd never gone to Forks, I wouldn't be facing death now, but terrified as I was, I couldn't bring myself to regret the decision. When life offers you a dream so far beyond any of your expectations, it's not reasonable to grieve when it comes to an end. The hunter smiled in a friendly way as he sauntered forward to kill me. It is way better than what I expected. I am only... what am I? I am in chapter 3, which is called Phenomenon. We have the preface, and then chapter 1 was called First Sighting, and then an open book. I love how the chapters are presented to us, and I love how they carried the story is being carried throughout the first chapters. I've obviously only read 3 parts of it now, the preface and the 2 first chapters, so my opinion can change. I hope it does not, but it can change. But I love it so far. It is so much better than what I expected. I expected a cringe fest, and so far the only cringy thing, which I hope I'm not gonna be right, but she keeps saying, like in the preface, that I had reason to die, or like my life is horrible, but her life is literally like her parents are divorced. Baby, there are like a lot of bad things that could happen. Okay, I'm not saying just because you have it like that doesn't mean that you should be like, but it's like a lot of reaction for your parents being divorced. They're not like dead, like, and they're fine. Like they love her and they're fine with her. So like that's the only thing for now that I'm like, I hope something happened. I hope we're gonna get to a chapter and we're gonna realize that something happened before she moved with her mom or something like that. We met Charlie. Charlie's good. The first chapter, First Sighting, we meet the Cullens and the Hales. I love it. It's, dude, the vibes, the aesthetics are so good. And then the second chapter, an open book, we talk with Edward for the first time, you know, and he does the little thing where he's like, I'm sorry about last week, I was nervous or something. Because she keeps saying, I had reason to die, my life is horrible. But she just moved from Florida to Forks. Okay? It's not that serious. And I had to pry myself away from the book to talk to you because I was like, oh my god, preface, I need to talk to you about the preface because of that. And I'm just like, oh my god, just like, let me just read the phrase. And then I finished chapter 1 and I was just like, oh my god, an open book. Let me just read another phrase. And then I finished chapter 2 and then I was like, oh my god, phenomenon. Let me just read the phrase. And then I was almost done with the first page of chapter 3. Hello. I don't know what kind of sorcery is happening with this book. You are leaning. Stop leaning on me. It's not that kind of date. So last time I saw you, I was into a chapter called Phenomenon. And I read Phenomenon, Invitations, Blood Types, Scary Stories, Nightmare. And again, I had to pry myself away from the book so I can talk to you. Because I was just gonna start Port Angeles. Lots to say. So the first couple of points, I guess pointers, not pointers, are sort of negative, but not in a way that kind of affect the experience of reading the book. But I still wanted to include them because they're very prominent, they're very loud. So the first one is that she's unnecessarily clumsy. Like there was a part where there's a sort of dance, a part where there was a dance, yeah, and she doesn't want to go because she's like terrible at dancing. It's not her scene and all of that, which is understandable, and it's fine, it's okay, you know, to each their own. That's not the annoying part of the character. The annoying part is that she doesn't want to go because she is not just, it's not just not her scene, but like she's so incredibly clumsy and so incredibly bad at dancing that it's described as issues. She went back home and told her dad about the dance, and she's like, he asked me if I want to go or not because he doesn't know about my issues, which is so weird. Like, what kind of issues what do you mean? What kind of issues? How can you be so clumsy to the point where there are issues? And she doesn't like PE because she is like so bad and so clumsy that she's actually a danger to other people. Like she describes herself as a danger to other people during PE. Which is weird. It's weird. I mean, in my opinion, if it's that grave, if it's that, like, huge of an issue, there's something wrong with you. Like, go get an EEG or a scan or something, because that's just not normal. And it's a little bit annoying to read because, like, it registers in my brain as if there's an actual medical issue, not just a clumsy, quirky, awkward type of person. She's also this combination of this clumsy, awkward, not like the other girls type, and other, not features, other personality traits of the character. It's kind of she's kind of pathetic. And I love it. Now, don't get me wrong. You know how pathetic she was in the movies? She's not that pathetic, which leads me to a positive point, actually. She actually has a personality. She has hobbies. She has a personality. She has traits and quirks, and good quirks, not just cringy ones. And she's actually so much better than the movies. They painted her as such a blah, as a meh. They painted her like as a meh with nothing to offer other than her obsessiveness, like obscene obsessive with Edward out of nowhere, it seems. But in the book, there's more to her. Like, she reads, she bakes, she cooks. Not bakes, she cooks, and she has hobbies, she has a personality, she's funny, she's a feminist, she's a first-wave feminist. Like, she's really cool. But she's still pathetic in her other sort of quirks, which is, I don't know, I kind of liked it in the books, actually. I mean, it's overdone. It's superfluous. Like, it's really overdone, but I still liked it. I gotta say, this book would have been so cool if I didn't watch the movies. Like, if the movies weren't such a big thing where everyone knows about them, even the little, the you know, the obvious part, the vampire part, even if you don't know about that part, if they weren't so big and they stayed obscure, this would have been so much better. Like, I would have loved it so much more. I do, but I would have really loved it so much more because the obscure part of it in the first chapter so far, I mean, we haven't still confirmed, you know, in the book, we still haven't confirmed that he's a vampire, but it's well done. It's obscure enough. It's cliche, it's cheesy, it's corny, yeah, but it's well done, in my opinion. It's the good kind of corny, you know? It's like the beginning of the cheesiness. This is where, like, the other stuff came from. I know it's not, but that's how it feels. The chapters and the little mystery aspect of them are well laid, in my opinion. They're not the best, but they're well laid. So I really like that aspect. Also, there's a sort of flow between the chapters, between each chapter, which is working for me. I really, really enjoy it. Another negative is the talk. The talk makes sense for Edward. We haven't confirmed that yet, but we know he's 117, 118 years old, so it makes sense for him. He's literally from a different era, you know, but it does not make sense for Belle. The way she talks is very ostentatious. It sets her, like, it puts her in a very hateable character criteria, you know what I mean? Like, she comes off as a little bit pretentious. I don't understand why a 17-year-old is talking the way Belle is talking. It does not make sense to me. She's the only one, like, every other character around her except Edward, he's the only vampire that we've spoken to for now, and Carlisle. Carlisle speaks normally. Carlisle is, I have a hard time saying his name, Carlisle. Yeah, has fully perfected the speech issue. He's okay. We met Carlisle. I love Carlisle. I have such a hard time saying it. We've met Carlisle. I love Carlisle. We've met Charlie. I like Charlie. We've met some girls in her school who are all jealous of her, obviously, and they all speak normally except for her, and it's kind of annoying. But she's just obsessed with him. She's like obsessed in an understandable way. And to be honest, in that situation, it's like realistic, you know, in that situation, the obsession as it's portrayed in the book, not the movie, but it's realistic. She's obsessed, but she still has her hobby. She still has her friends. She still has her life. She still has her, you know, day-to-day routine. It's not just an obsession and that's it. It even in the book reads more as a fated mate type of obsession. Like, she doesn't understand it, he doesn't understand it, but you can feel this sort of connection between them in the movies, in the book, rather than in the movie. The movie was just pathetic and annoying. Like, girl, go on a hike, you know, do something, read a book, stop, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, he's not even that cute, you know, but in the book it makes more sense. We just finally met Jacob in Scary Stories. The chapter is called Scary Stories. So far, he's alright, he's cool. We just met him, so I don't know how he's portrayed, like the differences, how he's portrayed in the book versus the movies. I kept waiting for that. It's taken a while for us to meet him. It's 132 pages to chapter 8, Port Angeles, and we just met met Jacob, and yeah, it's taken a while for this to unfold, but and I like it. I did not expect that, actually. I don't know why I somehow thought this was all gonna move too fast in the book, but so far it's cool. Another negative, I'm not gonna leave you on a negative, but another negative is that I'm very put off by the ages. I've grown out from YA. I still read a few here and there if it really clicks with me and it's not smutty. But I've mostly grown out of it. To be honest, now characters that are 20, I can't even do that. Like, it's fine, but I feel a disconnection with them. And it's weird. Like, I cannot read about a 17-year-old unless it's like a friendship, wholesome type of full adventure thing. I feel so weird. 17 is a child. It's like I can't look at a 17-year-old and be like, hey, how of a friend? Oh my god. I can't look at a 17-year-old and think like we're equals, you know? Oh my god, that sounds so pretentious. What is wrong with me? It's like they're a child, you know? There's a simple way to say this that's succinct and easy, straight to the point, and I cannot reach it in my brain today. I am sorry. I'm put off by the ages. Belle is 17. Edward is 118, yeah? That's weird. Putting myself in that position, I'd still be put off by it. Like, I cannot, thinking if I were immortal, God forbid, immortality is such a bad thing to me. Like, I don't understand why villains are always going after being immortal. That sounds horrible. Like, that sounds miserable. A miserable state of existence, of permanent existence. I hate it. But yeah, anyways, if I were to be immortal, I'm 24. If I were to be immortal at 24, 100 years from now, I wouldn't date a 22-year-old, you know? That's even though technically I'm like way older, but still, I'm put off by the ages. Also, Jacob is 15. Ma'am, that casting is so weird and the ages are so weird. The last point that I want to talk about Where I Live is that the vibes are outstanding, and yeah, the vibes are still strong and I'm enjoying the vibes vehemently. The aesthetics are aestheticing, and yeah, now on to chapter 8, Port Angeles. Yes, I did fashion myself a little Twilight bookmark. I am obsessed with this vibe. Don't judge me. Thank you very much. Okay, try to escape. But yeah, chapter 8, Port Angeles. Yay! Yay! So it was a roller coaster since I started, because I love the vibe, but I hated so many things, but I still loved the vibe so much that it kept me in its pages. So I am so confused by my fondness of this. It was so cool. So in the movies, if you've only watched the movies, and I bet you have, it is basically the chapters where James is looking. By the way, in the movies, they did James so dirty. They did him so dirty. In the books, it was way more, like, I don't know, like more, you know, by the body movements, what I mean. It was just more like more it girl, more attractive, more, you know, more scary. But then in the movies they gave us this. What is this? But Hide and Seek is basically this chapter with him and the little ballerina ballet dance, you know, the last chapter where Bella gets snatched and stuff like that. I loved it so much in the books. It was so fun. Also, we got a little snippet of Alice's background. I wish we would get some sort of like an Alice Jasper spin-off, like a movie just about Alice and Jasper, because she is so interesting. Basically, she can't remember any of her human life. Most of them can remember. Actually, I think all of them can remember. It's an anomaly that she can't remember her human life and anything, whatever happened. But in that chapter, Hide and Seek, we do get a little bit of what happened to her, and I loved that. It was just literally like a page or something of Alice's background, but it was so cool, and I kept reading because I wanted so much more from Alice, about Alice. She is such an interesting character. She's way more interesting than Bella, way more interesting than any of them. In my opinion, she is the most interesting character in the entire book. There is definitely maturing throughout the entire book. From the beginning of the book till the end, the writing definitely matures and changes for the better, which I absolutely loved, and I can't wait to see more. And I hope the rest of the books, because I do plan to read the rest of the book. I really want to. Yeah, I really enjoyed the vibe, so I do hope the rest of the books continue in that lane and get better and better, because the first few chapters, even though the vibes were really good, the aesthetic were good, reading it definitely 100% takes you somewhere nice. Well, nice to me, in my opinion. I loved Forks. I love the vibe of Forks. Everything is green and it's rainy and foggy all the time, and it's definitely my kind of place. Still, they were very cringe and stuff like that, you know, whatever I told you when I read the first chapters. So I was definitely looking forward to the improvement, which I did get. I had the last chapter and epilogue, and I'll be damned, I took a break. So I won't finish it. I actually took a break because I could feel the hangover. I could see that I will miss this universe. Do I plan to read the next book, New Moon? I do. I'm not gonna lie, would I recommend this to anyone? No, it's not that good. It's cringy, it's corny, it's cliche, it's nothing new, it's nothing special, it's nothing unique. Well, it's definitely something special, obviously, but it's nothing special story-wise, plot-wise. The writing isn't the best. When it gets good, sometimes it's really good, but it's just really good. It's not something brilliant, it's not something outstanding. There's definitely a lot of other books I would recommend before this one. Hundreds, thousands. This is literally the ladder. Not the ladder as in within the thousands, but the ladder as in the last one in the anyways. I wouldn't recommend this to people, but I do like it. I don't know, it's a conundrum and I don't know how to explain that. Escapism wise though, it is definitely enjoyable. It does take you somewhere. Whether you like that somewhere or not, that's on you, but it does definitely succeed in taking you somewhere. It's very simple to read. It's very simple to swallow. Oh my god. It's very simple to follow. I mean, I'm so confused. I'm so confused because I like this. I like this. I can like pinpoint so many negatives. Like the writing isn't the best, the plot isn't the best, it's predictable, it's cliche, it's corny, it's cringy, it's so predictable. Like there's nothing special about this. It's so obvious. Every part is obvious, every point is obvious. You can sit down and tell exactly whatever is going to happen, but I still like the vibe. I like the aesthetic. I like the process of reading it. I like the progression of I like my relationship with the book, if that makes any sense to non-readers, but just the process of reading it, it just makes sense to me. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched the entire video, thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'm gonna see you next video.